Have you been to,
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Week That Was. I am Saeed Khan, and we are down to our penultimate episode of the year. If you can actually believe it, 2025 is nearly in the rearview mirror, but there's still a lot of news, and certainly this week affirmed that. We are joined this week with two of our three esteemed lawyers, Bill Seikaly and Joel Sklar. Disclosure of location in his discretion. We have PR,
really nice.
and that's all he's telling. We have public relations specialist Beverly Watts. We have labor and community activist Barb Ingalls. Our veteran journalist Nancy Derringer is traveling right now. And we have co-founder, of course, of Deadline Detroit, Allan Lengel. Well, Mr. Trump goes on air and addresses the nation. Apparently, he dipped into the time of Survivor, much to the chagrin of, I guess, CBS. But given the fact of who's running CBS these days, I suppose they thought that this was actually an upgrade. And I think we have a little bit of video about that, Al.
All right, I'm sorry, I was loading your photo up here.
Oh, no problem.
Let me get to the, oops, I'm sorry here. I apologize, we will get there.
The speech was so unhinged and so full of obvious lies that CNN's fact checker had to race through them and still ran out of time.
The president said inflation is stopped. It's not stopped. It's 3%. In fact, September, that 3% rate was the fifth consecutive month inflation had increased. The president also said that he inherited the worst inflation. He said some might say in the history of the country. Again, he inherited 3% inflation in January. He spoke of cutting prescription drug prices by 400 to 600%. Those figures are mathematically impossible. He said the price of eggs has fallen, which is true, but then he said everything else is falling rapidly. Everything else is not falling rapidly. In fact, even on groceries in particular, far more products have increased in price this term than have decreased. He said again, he secured $18 trillion in investment this year. That number is total fiction. He spoke of some states hitting $1.99 for gas. The lowest state average today is closer to $2.40. About 100 stations out of about 150,000 stations are below $2. President Trump has not settled 8 wars. That list includes various wars, various situations that were not even wars, and some conflicts that have not actually been resolved. I could go on. I don't have time.
Get this man an energy bar and some Gatorade. Americans are struggling with rising costs and slowing economy, and instead...
Did anyone watch the speech? I mean, it was one of his shorter ones.
Sorry, I did not.
Well, it was one of his shorter ones. It didn't go on for 90 minutes as though he was recounting a Norse saga. What were your thoughts, Alan?
You know, I think, I mean, it was interesting because I watched CNN and MSNBC and all the analysis, and everyone was just saying, you know, he seemed very angry and he seemed very kind of almost shouting, and he was, I mean, one fact after another was not, I mean, I burst out laughing when he said, you know, now we've gotten rid of all the illegal immigrants. Now in America, every single person who's being hired for a job is born in America. And I thought, this guy is just, you know, and then I went to Fox News because I thought, all right, let's see the parallel universe. And, you know, you had Lindsey Graham and a couple other people there, and they were just like, oh my God, the president is showing that we're moving forward, that there's success and blah, blah, blah. And it was just so, you know, so opposite to reality there. And it just makes me sad that these people are scared and incapable of being honest. And the president, I mean, it doesn't matter anymore. People don't really, I mean, you can't take him seriously when he's talking shit. You're just saying, you're waiting for the fact checking, which thankfully CNN did, but I don't know.
Bill.
Yeah, I watched it much to my own chagrin, but it was kind of like a car accident that you could not, I could not turn off. The man was unhinged. It was the most unpresidential, maniacal, self-absorbed bullshit that I have ever watched in my life. I keep on thinking this guy can't do anything worse. I'm wrong. He manages to find the bottom faster than anybody else I've ever seen. This man's not competent to be president. Virtually nothing that he said was true or accurate. I wonder if his name really is Donald Trump. It was simply incredible to watch. And, you look for people to be presidential, and I thought, what's that mean? And what you want from somebody who's presidential is somebody who's going to bring us together and to bring calmness to the country, because that's what we need. He was ranting. He was yelling at the American people, and he was telling us what a bunch of crap we've always been until he became our leader. It was amazing.
It started out right from the very beginning.
Has one of two issues. They're incapable of admitting they're wrong, or they are such bigots and such bad people that they really support this guy. Right. Because he's amazing. If you've seen the pictures that he's hung of American presidents and the plaques they put below him, this guy does not deserve to win the White House.
But you know what? It's fortunate and it's unfortunate. I agree with you, Bill. It's unfortunate because he's a president, the leader of the free world, and we should expect, and we expect more from this. But the other half is, I believe it's starting to resonate. I look at all of the data, I look at comments, and even people I'm talking to, they don't believe. His brand is so bad. Now, things that he say, they're not believing what he's saying. I mean, Costco's yesterday just having a random talk with a gentleman. He says, I've been a Republican all my life, and I'm telling you, I'm so ashamed, and I can't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. And he started reciting the things. So we're going to see, though, when midterms come and all of that. I know what you're saying, probably about to say, but I know a lot of people are saying things, but they don't believe him. His brand now is, he can say eggs are much cheaper now, or the inflation, and people are not believing what he's saying. So his brand now is just more like he is a reality TV actor or a comic.
Beverly, was that guy there with his wife?
Even at this, a third of the country still supports this guy. And
we're going to see. Polls are polls. Polls, you can take a lot of polls and have a lot of polls say a lot of different things based on that. What's going to matter is, you're right, when we get to next year to midterm elections. And was his wife with him? No, she was not.
No, I was asking Beverly because were they there getting $1.50 hot dogs for date night? Because that's how bad the economy is.
No, actually, he was buying a flannel shirt.
So he had something formal coming up.
I've got to respond to Cash Monroe. People who say, "Oh, well, Biden wasn't any more presidential. He wasn't tearing the country apart like this. He wasn't angry. He wasn't mean. He wasn't divisive." Anybody who wants to compare Biden and Trump, come on, I'll win that debate every day of the week.
Well, Dan, Joe Biden still
compare Trump to anyone.
People.
Do you think, Bill, then, that the term presidential really needs to be replaced with the term statesman-like? Because that seems to be in short shrift these days. So, Joel.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be that the buck stops here, that ultimately the president took responsibility because the president's the captain of the fucking ship. That's gone. Trump shirks responsibility. He takes credit that doesn't exist for things that he hasn't accomplished, and anything that is negative be online about, he blames on everybody else but himself. And I think every presidency before Trump's presidencies, the buck did stop at the presidency. There was that idea that, yes, ultimately I am responsible and I will change things because the buck stops with me. That is gone. There's no accountability, and I think presidential is being accountable. I agree with Bill. The mockery that he's made of the office by these plaques, that is debasing himself. He is debasing the office that he holds, and it is how people let him debase the office is beyond me. And what he's done, it is completely. Again, it's a diminution of institutions. It's a lack of respect for the office that he holds, and the message to me is that office is a fucking joke, because that's what you're making of it.
Right.
Joel, I don't know where you are, but that poetry, the diminution of institutions, keep writing, bro. That is those are just both. Bill, you made an interesting point. You even were challenging whether or not this is his real name. Actually, his ancestral name is Drumpf, Drumpf, not Trump. But the other thing is, he's looking to put that name on a few more buildings, including the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. And Allan, we've got a video about that too.
JFK's nephew, Joseph Kennedy III, is upset. He said the Kennedy Center is a living memorial to a fallen president and named for President Kennedy by federal law, can no sooner be renamed than can someone rename the Lincoln Memorial, to which Trump responded, that's a good idea.
Well, I mean, this is absolutely true. The Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts got its name through an act of Congress, one that cannot then be overridden by an executive order. If it is, I suppose it can be easily challenged in court. But what does this say? That he goes ahead and he fires the board, he puts on his own lackeys onto the board who, quote unquote, unanimously voted for the center to be renamed. What's going to be left in Washington, D.C. in 4 years that isn't going to be tainted by the Trump footprint there?
He's going to continue, and whomever our next president is, and if it's a Democrat, the first year is going to be undoing a lot of this stuff. Repainting, redoing, this, that, all of the things that they can. Is
just
very
the whole committee to take down all the gold shit.
Right.
I think, if you read,
we're going to have a department just called undo.
If you read
Undoge, I think is
if you read the plaques, they're basically the postings of Truth Social. It has the same kind of shit on there. It's just amazing. I put on Facebook this morning, I said, he's like a dog who has to piss on every fire hydrant to put his, marking on it. And it's sad. And like you say, it's going to take the undoing of only a Democrat would probably touch it, but.
Right.
But you know what? We need to be careful. Remember the Civil War? We're still undoing Reconstruction. We're still dealing with the statute to the Confederates, to the rebellious people. It's not going to be as easy to undo his abusive conduct as we think it is. The names on buildings, he is a classic dictator who has to have his name on everything, and it has to be everywhere. He's a third world thug.
Barb, before we go to you, we are joined with our third lawyer, Steve Fishman. Barb.
Now it's official. So Trump did propose renovations to the Lincoln Memorial. He already has done that. He wants a triumphal arch near the Arlington Memorial Bridge, and he wants cleanup efforts for the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. And I have a feeling there's going to be a whole lot of cheap gold crap involved in that. So I don't think there's anything that he won't touch. I also want to say cynicism is really cheap and easy to do, but and I'm not a Democrat, but how can you not choose a side? How can you not try really hard to believe in something? That person that said that's both sidesism is not going to work.
Yeah, and I agree with Bill on this particular point too, that some things is going to be hard to change, if not a long time, which is some mindset. Because when we look at that office, the office of the presidency, you expect a certain standard, and he's lowered that. So it's like you've kind of afraid to go over that wall, but now somebody just busts the door down. You can't get that back. You can't undo that. Like putting the milk back in the bottle. So there's going to be some things, you're right, it's going to be long lasting, well beyond our lifetime.
It's going to be expensive, and then I think the other thing, Beverly, is that the Republicans are going to simply tell the Democrats, oh, so this is what you're prioritizing when whatever else Trump has destroyed in the country needs prioritization. I mean, that's the kind of chutzpah that's there. Well, there is a really interesting interview in Vanity Fair magazine with somebody who spends a fair share of time with the man himself and within the White House, and particularly the Oval Office, and that is Chief of Staff Susie Wiles. The interview was, shall I say, candid, and perhaps the most open and transparent thing to come out of the White House, probably in 4 administrations. Allan?
My theory on that is that she was being so blunt and saying, yes, I know these people are crazy, but don't worry. There's a responsible adult. I get it. I see what's happening. I'm not blind to it. So don't worry about it. All this craziness, it's under control. That was
I didn't take it like that at all. I thought some of her responses, and I read every word of both interviews. I thought some of her responses are almost I thought almost the opposite, Alan. I thought whatever it is, it is. I don't think she was trying to tell us that there's responsible people there. She just, this is her job. This is what she does. And she doesn't really give a shit is what it sounded like to me.
Oh, really? Okay. I thought the message was, because it was so blunt, that she was saying, yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, we know it's kind of crazy, but I know what's happening. I'm in control. Don't worry about it.
Do you think, Allan, part of that was that she was trying to send a message that she's in control, not the Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, who seems to be the one in control, not only of her, but also of the entire White House? So I don't know about the maneuver, but did anyone see the photographs, which were unflattering to say the least, including that of Stephen Miller, including that of Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, all the way down to seeing the injection points for a 28-year-old's face?
And Marco Rubio's plugs. You could see the marks where he had hair extensions put in.
I don't know if those are from hair. I don't know if that's from hair extensions. I thought those were lobotomy scars, Barb, but I could be wrong.
I think those go in right there. I will have nightmares about Stephen Miller's photo for a very long time. They're terrifying. But you could see what everybody was. They were made up. They were fake. They were uncaring of the photographer did a service to everybody, showing their real faces.
Steve,
every time I see a photograph of Stephen Miller, knowing what I know now about how his family basically got rid of him and this and that, I just wish like crazy the guy would have gone to Bagley Elementary School with us. It just would have been a lot of fun knocking the shit out of that guy every chance you got.
That probably happened to him. I think the guy got the shit kicked out of him a lot too. I mean, he just, the thing about Miller is he's the obvious tumor. He's so easy he is a growth. He is the cancerous growth. And it's so obvious. It's hideous. It's ugly. Everything awful. It's festered. It's the worst possible wound. And we all see it. We need to see more of him. Stephen Miller is simply, he's odious on every level. And I think people need to know Stephen Miller. He is the face. He should be the face of the administration because he is the guy who's stirring the pot. And he's making all these decisions. And he's a malevolent, sick person.
So one of the decisions. Yep. Sorry. Go ahead, Barb.
I was going to say, but who's going to expose him? There's videos of him in high school giving a speech on the stairs of his high school, complaining that they're expecting kids to pick up their own garbage, their own trash, and clean out their own things when they're hired people to do the cleaning for them. And this is a guy whose wife admits that all he eats is mayonnaise.
Kraft Hellman's.
It's probably due on that side of the country. I'm not sure, but. These things are there, but it just seems that the news media is, again, sorry.
Maybe the DNC. Maybe it's the DNC's responsibility to push the most ugly aspects of this administration and who's doing things. The media is not doing its job. I'm with you. But I think somebody's got to focus on it, and it could be the DNC because he is such a disgusting, vile human being just upon sight.
But Joel, I mean, I think there was a recent report that came out from the Democrats that was a sort of postmortem on what went wrong in 2024, and it seems as though it is a complete disconnect that the leadership has to the Democratic Party when it comes to why they lost. They're assigning blame in the wrong places. So I'm not sure that the DNC is probably the most prudent and well qualified organization. Allan.
Yeah, I mean the DNC. I mean, we don't. I can't tell you who. I know the guys from what is it, Minnesota or something. It used to be the heads of the. I mean, Ronna Romney was pretty prominent as a Republican, head of the Republican Party. As far as the Democratic Party, they've been invisible. And there was a poll that just came out of Michigan saying that in 2024, the Democrats were pushing issues that were low down on the totem pole for voters,
Right.
missing out on really some of the key issues there. So, did
you notice that the second thing that Trump, the second thing that Trump mentioned regarding in his remarks was he went after the trans community. I mean, he was saying, like, look at all these people. We got rid of these people playing sports in this area. I mean, it seems as though that's quite the fixation that he had. Ironically enough, of course, tonight at 11:59 p.m. is the deadline legally where the administration must go ahead and release the Epstein files. But Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche has already warned that it's only going to be a partial batch release because the DOJ still needs time for more redactions.
That's
so
crazy.
I guess
Actually, can you hear those crickets? Can you hear those crickets? That's what we're going to do.
That explains to me, Bill, why Amazon ran out of Sharpies. I think they're out of stock for the next week because it looks like the DOJ must have bought all of them out. So you've got that as an issue. The other thing that Trump has going is he is suing the BBC for $10 billion in this defamation suit for allegedly editing a speech of his for January 6, 2021 in a negative light. I've got to ask my esteemed troika of lawyers, if the BBC is now subject to the lawsuit, which it seems as though it was filed in Florida, first of all, strategically filing in Florida seems rather silly because it would have been better for him to file this lawsuit in the UK where the defendant must prove truth, whereas he has to prove not only defamation, but he also has to prove actual damages. And the second question that I have is that when this lawsuit goes forward, in discovery, can't the BBC go ahead and demand he release all of his financial records? And is that something that he'd really want to do? Bill?
Yeah, first of all, having done a couple of these cases, I will tell you that I do think they made a strategic mistake. However, I think it's clear that the argument will be from one side or the other that English law applies, not the law of the United States, because he has no chance. It ought to be dismissed on summary disposition very early on if American law applies.
But I thought his side of the aisle, Bill, doesn't like foreign law to be applied here, and that British Sharia defamation law. I don't know.
Well, wait, are you suggesting that he's not the master of contradiction and hypocrisy?
Yes and no, Bill.
These are all performative. These lawsuits, honestly, the substance of most of them, they're extorted. I don't think the BBC is going to be extorted the way that CBS was, I hope, or whatever these be. I hope that's not the case, but this is all performative bullshit. The last thing this guy wants to do is sit through deposition after deposition, which he should be sitting through. My thing is, don't dismiss the damn case. Don't file a motion. Let's go forward with it. Take some debts, get them under oath, do some interrogatories, request to admit. Let's have some fun.
And usually he could argue, I'm the president, I can't be subject to discovery. Can't get away with that bullshit here.
Not if you're going to file the suit.
File the lawsuit.
Right.
I'd be pressing for discovery so hard and so fast.
Honestly, this is a great opportunity. You're going to get more than Congress can get, theoretically. You're going to be able to do a whole...
Oh, please, Bill, we don't need a video deposition of him. Please, no, please.
Yes.
There isn't enough bourbon in America to sit through that.
I know.
Well, you have so many tools.
Steve is too quiet. Steve is too quiet.
Steve is just absorbing. He's still fantasizing about what he would have done to Stephen Miller if they were in high school, right, Steve?
Elementary school. He'd never made it to Mumford. We just would have got him at Bagley Elementary over there.
What would have been the weekly swirly count, Steve? Swirly count.
I still didn't hear you.
Swirly.
Head in the toilet.
Oh, swirlies. No, we didn't do that. We had a
Just eat the
playground
shit
outside
out of
where
them.
you could take care of yourself in the playground. Forget the
Oh my God.
swirlies.
Boy, you lived in a parallel universe there, Steve. Everybody else's experience back as a kid. Well, there was carnage again, unfortunately, this time in Sydney, Australia, at a Hanukkah celebration on Bondi Beach. Two gunmen, father and son, opened fire, and 15 members of the Jewish Chabad community were killed. Interestingly enough, also a twist on the story, the hero to this was a Syrian immigrant by the name of Ahmed, who rushed in and actually tackled one of the gunmen, neutralized him, took away the gun, was shot himself by the other gunman, is recovering from his injuries, might lose his arm. So the Prime Minister of Australia, Albanese, even visited Ahmed al-Ahmed, this Muslim hero, and it looks like GoFundMe has collected somewhere along the lines of about, with the exchange rate, about $2 million US for him. But it shows you not only what was going on in this brutality in Sydney, but the exploitation of the narrative by many, including Prime Minister Netanyahu, who right away said, well, this is due to the fact that Australia recognized a Palestine state. And in fact, we have Florida lawmaker Randy Fine and Georgia lawmaker Tommy Tuberville, the senator, who went ahead and have been calling for mass expulsions of Muslims from the United States. Is this just the way that these exploitations are going to happen, similar to what we see here when it comes to a mass shooting?
Well, awful people are going to say awful things.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you. There's no excuse for that. I mean, I don't think everybody, what I'm getting from these people can't generalize at all. These awful people who are killing, these awful people who are endorsing the killing or excusing it, I just hope they're far and few between, and truly the extreme of the extreme. I refuse to believe that most or even close to people believe the way these crazy motherfuckers believe who are killing. What's happening in Brown is awful. What's happening in Australia is awful. It's going to keep going. We're normalized to it to an extent. We expect it to an extent. When's the next one going to be? Because I forgot the last one already. This is fucking nuts, and this is where we are, and it's terrifying. And for Netanyahu to say that shit is, it's unforgivable, just like he's unforgivable.
Yep. See,
it's not the fringe anymore.
No.
Look what Trump said about Rob Reiner and his wife.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we'll get to that in a second, Bill. Steve.
So the thing we should all know about Bibi Netanyahu is he is going to use anything he can ever to do whatever he can to advance his own position. So he's not a dumb guy. He's a smart guy. And that wasn't something that even crossed my mind when I heard about this. And then I saw that video. I got to tell you, forget the $2 million. That guy deserves a Nobel Peace Prize for what he did. That shooter that's the perfect example of what we talk about. It's one thing to have a little 32 caliber gun or something. That guy, who knows how many people he could have killed. He was standing, and how far away was he from the victims? A long way away, right? And he's shooting away. And this guy, who was no young guy, and he didn't look like some kind of fantastic boxer or athlete or anything, he charges the guy. He hides first. That video absolutely, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. And then he neutralizes the guy, and then he gets shot by the other guy, I guess, right? Yeah. But to me, the concept that Netanyahu was trying to advance is completely and totally ridiculous. And any Jew who pays attention to the rest of the world and who's been living on the planet knows goddamn well that anti-Semitism has been here for 5,000 years. Okay, do they make it easier? Not the Bibis of the world, the Trumps of the world who talk all the time and violence is great and this and that and the other. But it's not like the Australian Prime Minister hadn't been kind of warned a little bit, right? From what we read, that they were saying there's a lot more of it going on. The Jewish community is feeling threatened, blah, blah, blah. And what did they do? Bupkis, nothing, until all of a sudden it happened. And now, of course, what do they do now? Their thoughts and prayers are with the Chabadniks. That's big help. That helps a lot, thoughts and prayers. If something happens to a relative of mine, all you guys do me a favor. Don't offer me thoughts and prayers. Let's go find the guy who did it, and we'll just cut his fucking head off.
There you go.
Wow.
The views of Steve Fishman are not those that are reflective of the show this week, the week it was, or anything else. Steve has been hitting the Manischewitz.
But many of us share them. But
yes, Steve might have been hitting the Manischewitz on Hanukkah. We cannot verify that. But anyway, that's your disclaimer. Thank you very much, Barb.
Okay, one thing that should be pointed out is that this horrible crime was committed by guys using long guns. Like they were using rifles. They were not AK-47s. They were not semi-automatics. And that is because Australia was brilliant enough to get rid of those guns a long time ago. So it was not to minimize anything that happened, but I mean, because they were shooting these guys one by one instead of spraying it into the crowd. But what Ahmed was able to do was Nancy's on it. He was able to stop. They were targeting people and shooting them, and he was able to stop that. And that's a big brave deal. But anybody from this country that goes, "Oh, gun control doesn't work," is damn well does work. It would have so much worse.
What was scary for me watching the footage, Barb, along with that, was this guy was standing using a high-powered rifle. I mean, that is not an easy shot to take. These people knew what they were doing. I mean, anybody who's hunted with a 30-06 or gone out, here in Michigan, gone deer hunting or wherever, you know that you're going to go ahead and lean that gun against something in order to go ahead and stabilize it. You are going to go ahead and maybe lie down and take a shot. If you're sitting in a deer blind, standing up and doing that, this was somebody who knew what they were doing, and that's really frightening. Alan, you had your hand up before.
I was going to play a commercial.
Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and do that.
One thing before you go there, Alan.
Go ahead.
Steve Fishman does not drink Manischewitz.
That's
Wait
Hold on.
Wait a minute, that's his Christmas gift. Wait a minute, Bill. Now you tell me. Okay.
A fine bottle.
Yeah, look that up. Turn your
Do I know,
video.
Steve? That's right.
Up onto that stuff.
Is it open? Is it open, Steve?
No, it's
It
not
will be.
open. A former client of mine sent me a case just today. So
I
don't.
Beverly, that may not have been the right question. It's not, is it open? Is it empty?
Right.
All right, Alan, let's go to commercial.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Steve, I want to go ahead and apologize to you regarding anything about drinking Manischewitz. I mean, the worst thing that could happen is me being accused of being anti-Semitic, of accusing you of drinking a Jewish wine. So, like I said, apologies.
Well, there are a lot of shibboleths that people believe, that happened to be one of them. All Jews are drinking Manischewitz. We also bury our dead standing up so the money doesn't fall in their pockets, out of their pockets. So
listen, my knowledge of Manischewitz comes from exactly two sources. One is a bar mitzvah that I attended, and the other is Goodfellas. So
I have a Manischewitz quick story. Is that 14 in Haggerty was a Hiller's supermarket, which had a very good selection of kosher wine. And one night I was going to dinner where I had to get a bottle of kosher wine. I was at my parents and I stopped by there, and Kroger's had taken over. And I said, where's the kosher wine? And the manager took me to, there all was Manischewitz. And I looked, I said, look, the Jews don't drink this stuff anymore, man. I said there's actually really good bottles of kosher wine now. So
I miss Hilbert.
Kroger. Well, apropos to Bill, the reference that you made, director Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle were both found brutally murdered in their Brentwood, Los Angeles home. Their son Nick has been arrested under suspicion of having committed both murders. I don't know of anybody who has had an unkind word to say about Rob Reiner, both professionally and personally. Allan, why don't you go ahead and show the video?
Hey, look, Edith, he wore his Halloween costume.
I was seeing this clip where it's Christmas time and Edith is having a real crisis of faith. A friend of hers who was gay was killed in a hate crime, and she's losing her faith in God. And Rob Reiner comes in, meathead Michael, and it is just one of the most poignant scenes of how he explains to her reasons why she should reconsider losing her faith. And despite all that, of course, President Trump went on yet another unhinged trolling of Rob Reiner, making it all about himself. Steve.
I have to tell you, I happened to go on Facebook early that morning, and somebody had printed the quote. And in all honesty, despite knowing what kind of person this guy is, I typed in there, did he really say that? I could not believe that he said that. Honest to God. It's just beyond my comprehension. As bad as I think of him, which is about as bad as you can think of anyone, that to me was absolutely beyond my comprehension. That any human being on the planet, given the fact that a guy and his wife are murdered in their own house, this is before they, charged his son. You're murdered in your own house with a knife, and this is what you have to say about it. It's unbelievable. And
have you no sense of decency? It's one of those. By that moment, have you no sense of decency, sir? Right. Haven't we come there? Isn't that like, oh my God, you have crossed a line that have you no sense of fucking decency? That's exactly, what it was. He has no sense of decency. It is just beyond the pale, This is what he is. This is what the man is, what Trump is.
I just want to give note for what Smash the Numbers said. Rob Reiner definitely took it to an 11. Yeah, thank you.
To clarify, by the time he put out that post, it was clear that the son was a suspect in that.
But it just goes back to what we were saying, is that it's no law. He has no conscience. He has no, and if nothing else, when it comes to a time and a moment like this, and the leader of our United States are spiritually making comments like that, if that doesn't make some of the people on the red side or support him take pause, and we really are in a shithole.
Wasn't there an outrage about Charlie Kirk a month ago, 6 weeks, whatever the hell that happened? I don't even know what had happened anymore, but wasn't there that outrage? How dare you insult or offend the dead? I mean, this is insane.
Yeah.
Well, his former mentor, the late Roy Cohn, the lawyer, told him never, ever, ever apologize for anything. And so here you have an example of that. He, when he was questioned about it, he says, well, he said this about me. I mean, he just made it all about him. And it seems from the backlash, it looks like this, for some reason, might have been one of those moments where MAGA is at least in part disgusted by what he had to say. Anyway, I just want to go around the horn. Oh yes, Bill.
1 second. It smashed the numbers. Says, don't blame Trump. Blame the people that support him. I blame them both.
Yeah.
I blame them both. Anybody who supports Trump in making these kinds of statements, in doing the presentation that he did the other night on television, all should be condemned. Sorry.
All right.
I'm on a rant today. Can you tell?
That's okay. So, favorite movie of Rob Reiner's?
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride. All right. Yep. Bill.
This is a terrible confession. I'm going to be judged for this, but I've only watched When Harry Met Sally 30 times. I just think it was a great movie. And I think that I know Rob Reiner has said it's his story. He loves to tell the story about how people meet, and he loves to tell the story about how most men are too immature, and when they meet the right woman, they learn to grow up. And that's what that movie is.
Nancy chiming in from Ohio as an homage to that moment in time, that line of demarcation for Steve, Purple Rain.
Purple Rain.
Really? Rob Reiner produced that movie or directed it?
No.
She was anticipating my answer, which was going to be, I don't think I ever saw any of Rob Reiner's movies. So you can't be surprised.
His first movie that he directed, Steve, came out the same year as Purple Rain. And I know you were conflicted about which theater to go to, but This Is Spinal Tap came out in 1984.
Yeah.
And then the Sure Thing was the loveliest movie about young people in love.
Yep. Stand By Me.
It was wonderful.
Stand By Me.
You know.
Yep.
A Few Good Men.
Dean Charlie
Yes.
about his, that I did not see. It was apparently reflective about him and his son. That I never saw. I never knew.
Yeah. Mine hands down is Few Good Men. That was I've watched it so many times.
Great movie. Oh my God.
You've never seen any of these?
Huh?
You've never seen A Few Good Men?
Steve.
I've never seen it. No.
You have to see that, Steve. Okay.
You can't handle the truth.
It's a great courtroom drama.
It is.
Especially the courtroom piece. Especially the
What
courtroom.
movies have you seen?
How about you, Alan?
I'd have to say Stand By Me and When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah, they're just.
I know the song "Stand By Me," by the way. That I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I don't even know if it was in the movie, was it?
Yeah. Can't remember.
No.
I can't recall. Yeah. Okay. Well, obviously, the president has enough bandwidth to not only troll Rob Reiner's and the awful circumstances in which he was murdered, but he's also ordered an oil tanker blockade of Venezuela. And in a recent interview, when asked, is war a possibility, he says, "I'm not ruling it out." It seems as though the narrative about war with Venezuela, at least the justification about drugs, is really flimsy. This seems to really be more about regime change, that for whatever reason they want to get rid of Maduro. But I also learned that Venezuela actually, out of OPEC countries, has the largest percentage of OPEC's oil export, 18%, even higher than Saudi Arabia, which is, I think, at 17%. So it seems as though this is naked piracy and a naked regime change just to take control of the oil. And it doesn't seem as though the international community is, on the one hand, putting too much opposition to this, except apparently Vladimir Putin, the erstwhile friend of Trump, has said this would be a really bad idea if Trump went in further to Venezuela. Barb.
Also, they export zero amounts of fentanyl.
That's also kind of problematic. Yes. Yeah. By the way, speaking of fentanyl, here's a show recommendation. If you have Paramount Plus, or I don't know where else you can get it, Mobland, with Pierce Brosnan, with Helen Mirren, with Tom Hardy. It is about an Irish mob family or crime family in England. Wasn't it great, Barb?
I loved it. I can't wait for the next season.
Made by Guy Ritchie.
When's the next season?
Huh?
When is the next season? Any idea?
I don't know, but it's been renewed, so they might be filming it. But I never thought I could hate Helen Mirren.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of it. I mean, it takes a little bit to understand all the, the talk, but
subtitles are your friend, Alan.
Yeah. You mean the Irish Borg laddie?
Yeah. Oh, right.
But it's made by Guy Ritchie, and so it's got that Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch feel. Great soundtrack. Strongly recommend.
Look at that. Okay.
We have a little lightness to hear, a little video. you might find amusing.
Urgent message from police. They're looking for a missing dad.
The girl only had a drawing of her father. She didn't have a photo, just this drawing of her father.
Have an update from police.
Officers have now located the father just moments ago.
Well, she got the eyes wrong. I'm glad that the police were still able to go ahead and investigate. Hey, Allan, by any chance, do you have this picture that I sent you? I was flying back, and I know I shouldn't have taken this photo, and I tried to be inconspicuous, but I found somebody's doppelganger on the flight.
What?
Yes.
Pretty good. It really does look like him.
I literally had to curb my enthusiasm when I saw him.
Oh,
You must get that.
Still doesn't top Bill's picture. I don't care.
Oh, no, stop.
We'll do
It's the eyebrows for me.
the top 10.
See, Bill, you made it in the top 3 there. So
We actually have Joel Perkins. I think it's his high school picture.
Wow. I thought that was Jermaine Jackson.
Yeah, he looks good.
He would thank you for that, I bet.
And let's not forget this one.
Oh, no, but that's not even a blooper, man.
That's
now
nice.
you know what would have been the bloopers if the Pope was handing me the Quran. Oh, that's a great picture.
That was me on the right in college.
What?
You.
Wow.
Something, Allan.
What happened to my hair?
I would ask to see Nancy in the bathing suit, but I'm not enough of a sexist.
I don't know if you still have it.
Here it comes.
Oh man. Well, Alan's taking a request.
She's watching, so let's hope she doesn't drive off the road.
You know what? I always feel like when Nancy's not here, we should take advantage of this because she never wanted to play this.
Who ate all the gabagool?
No more gabagool for you. The doctor said it's bad for you.
I don't give a. Wanna get some more gabagool?
What am I, your servant?
You know what? I don't need this.
You want some gabagool? Why don't you get it from one of your little Russian who?
Tell you what, why don't you stop breaking my ball?
I don't know when's the last time we saw the extended version, Allan. So
yeah,
maybe last time
TV
wasn't here.
It's the end of the year. It's not the end of our minds here, guys.
Well, you know, are we not doing next Friday? Are we not doing next Friday? There's one more Friday in the year.
Yeah.
Well, Saeed, you said this was the penultimate.
I said it's penultimate. We got another one next week. Yes, this way that I had to say that because that way Nancy wouldn't correct me because she's not on today, so I had to get it right. We have one more show, the ultimate show of 2025, next week, where you guys had better all start thinking about your predictions for 2026 because we're going to have those. Well, it looks like the Michigan Senate has voted to restore work project funding based on cuts that the House had made. It looks like House Speaker Matt Hall is quite upset about this, and so it seems that they're still quite a ways away. But does it look promising that the funding is going to go through for the various projects? Anyone on this?
I think so. I mean, I think there's a big push to get it back. And I mean, what the Republicans did is so egregious, and you know, and what they cut out are programs that are for the disadvantaged or whatever. I mean, one of the funding they cut out was for the farmers. Apparently, particularly in Michigan, have a higher rate of suicide. There was some mental health funds to address farmers' issues, and that was cut out of the budget. I think they're going to try to put that back in. I mean, it's just all these things that just for the average person, they're like, yeah, fuck the average person. You know, it's
kids with cancer. Kids with cancer, they were cutting out a program that gives children with cancer wigs so they can feel, and this is not a lot of money. I mean, that's the thing, is that's not a lot of money.
Right.
I want to defend the Republicans on this one. They're being consistent here. They don't want, when we have these mass shootings, they don't want to do anything to ban guns. The other alternative would be to do something about mental health. Well, they don't want to do that either. So they're being consistent. They want to encourage mass shootings.
Yep.
Always
Well, you know,
loathsome.
go ahead, Barb.
No, always loathsome. That's what they are.
Well, one of the things that is actually now, unfortunately, kind of a global issue is this idea of the suicide rate among farmers. When I was in Great Britain, there was reporting on this as well, that the suicide rate has gone up because farmers who've had their farms in their families going back to the Domesday Book. So basically, when William the Conqueror came in 1066, they're in danger of losing their farms. The suicide rate in India is 1 farmer per hour.
Wow.
Because you have all of this corporatization, all this privatization, and the marginalization of the agricultural sector. There have been marches and demonstrations and rallies going from the Punjab to New Delhi. I mean, this seems as though the agricultural sector in almost every single country is now under siege. With that, let's go ahead and go to our last segment, Alan.
Oh, I am sorry. Steve had asked me to download something.
Downtown Detroit, Robert Wells, Schmuck of the Week.
All right, Beverly, let's start with you. Who's your schmuck?
Well, it was the obvious one, and Bill kind of hit on it earlier. Of course, is you guys president. You know, just when I think he can't sink low on Rob Reiner and his lovely wife, even if someone doesn't agree with you and all of that, when a horrific tragedy happened, you still just can't shut your mouth and be a leader that you're supposed to be. You have to come out with this type of statement. So he remains my schmuck. Leading out in 2025, it seems like he's going to stay on that list and ride it out. And of course, there's no surprise what predictions will be for 2026 as it relates to him. He's my schmuck of the week.
All right, Joel.
I'm going to go with the Ohio University football coach Brian Smith, who had a relationship with an undergraduate or a student at Ohio University and lost his job. You know, I don't know what's up with not. You have such a great gig as a university, even the MAC, of a football coach, and these boundaries and limitations issues confound people apparently. And they're exceptionally clear. And it's just, again, somebody's holding a public position. Ohio University, I believe, is a public school. And, it's just disturbing, again, to see another person in power take advantage of that for a young woman who clearly is out of her depth. It's just very disturbing to see this keep happening. So he's my club.
Steve.
Mine was fairly simple this week, although I have to admit, Beverly's right. I mean, Trump would be the schmuck of the week every week for the rest of our lives, obviously. Mine is Richard Grinnell and the rest of the board of trustees of the Kennedy Center, who have agreed that they're going to name it now the Trump Kennedy Center. And it makes me think, and those of us who are old enough to remember John F. Kennedy, I'm thinking of the comparison between the two. John Kennedy went to war and was in PT Boat 109. He lost a brother in the war. Mm-hmm. Trump dodged the draft claiming he had bone spurs. John Kennedy gave the great speech, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Can you imagine those words coming out of the mouth of Donald Trump? It'd be exactly the opposite. What can you do for me? That's all I care about. So, and Grinnell actually defended it. I don't know if you guys saw what he said. Well, it's bipartisan now, you see. We have a Republican and a Democrat. The fact that this board of trustees could do something like that and ignore the distinction, the obvious ones, let's not even get to the character problems, but the obvious distinctions between John F. Kennedy and this asshole, those guys are my schmucks of the week.
I have, by the way, Steve has shared some photos from his Pershing High days.
Mumford High Day.
There we go. Mumford, I'm sorry. Was it against Pershing?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Which one was you?
That's exactly what I told Alan to ask. That's what I want to see if the audience can tell which one was me.
Awesome.
Steve, by the way, other than the ref.
By the way, Steve, JFK also lost a sister in World War II. Catherine Kick was killed in a plane crash. So there were two siblings. I mean, boy, Rose Kennedy. I mean, to lose that many of her kids and survive that, really remarkable. All right, Barb.
Yeah, oof, what a week, right? Matt Hall, of course, who said he was proud of the work that they did to take wigs from children with cancer and help farmers. But also CBS Evening News. Again, not a fan of the news media, but last night, John Dickerson and Maurice Dubois, I think is his name, both signed off. They resigned from CBS before they were fired. Although their job had already been taken by somebody named Tony Dokoupil. But they gave really lovely speeches, short speeches on why they love their job so much. But the killer was John Dickerson looked in the camera and he said, "Good night and good luck."
Oh,
it was like, take it,
Sadly.
motherfucker.
Way to channel the great.
It's heartbreaking, and it's like one more thing gone. So,
well, to think, I mean, this was the network of Walter Cronkite, just like this was the America of Lincoln. So you know, there you go.
Well, those are the words of Edward R. Murrow. So
yeah, Bill.
I've got two members of the of Congress, Tommy Tuberville and Randy Fine, who have called for the mass expulsion of Muslims from our country. What an American call. I mean, that's really trying to step up to be Americans. I call for their expulsion from the planet. They are disgusting, despicable people who couldn't try to do more to suck up to Trump, and they do not deserve to be representatives. They have violated their oath of office. This is a clearly unconstitutional call. It's repugnant to everything we should stand for in this country. But otherwise, they're sweet guys.
Also in that vein, Bill, New York City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino echoed the same sentiments and calls. Allan.
I am going to go with this man here, Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, who's probably the dumbest senator in the Senate, who has defended Trump's posting about Rob Reiner, saying he did not find it controversial. He found it respectful. Said, I don't think they're controversial because he was respectful to him, said he was once a really good actor and all that, and pointed out the fact that he didn't like him at all, but wished him, ended the text fine. I think, it's just so hard to watch. These guys are so, this guy is kind of ignorant anyways, but when you see Lindsey Graham on Fox defending Trump's speech and just applauding him and stuff like that, Lindsey Graham is not a dumb guy. He's a spineless guy, right? But he's not dumb. Yeah. I think Mark Wayne Mullen is dumb.
I think there may be more than just a spine missing from Lindsey Graham's anatomy, Allan, but I'm not sure completely. By the way, somebody commented that Trump desecrates the Kennedy name. I think also Robert F. Kennedy Jr. desecrates the Kennedy name. So there's a little bit of cannibalism there. Okay, well, I've got two. One is Detroit News editor Nolan Finley, whose one of his recent columns said that, quote, Reiner comments suggest Trump is losing his grip. So he, I guess, is still looking at this as a present tense, not a already continuing trespass. But the fact that even that is where he's finally coming to settle on the idea that Trump has got issues is coming. Was it a day late and a dollar short, Nolan? And the other is staying in the field of journalism. New York Times columnist David Brooks, who has criticized House Democrats for their call to release the Epstein files. Well, now I guess we found out why he would do that. Apparently he, David Brooks, appears in Epstein files and in Epstein photos. Wow. So maybe Brooks. He was David Brooks. Maybe he was protesting a bit too much, as the Bard once said. There's no allegations that he was on Epstein Island or that he was cavorting with minors, but the fact that Epstein's reach went so far that it allowed then supposedly professional journalists to abdicate their objectivity and their impartiality, I guess, is on, as the young generation would say, full blast. So David Brooks, Nolan Finley, you're my schmucks of the week. Well, thank you again for a wonderful trip around the news for the week. Thank you, Beverly Watts. Thank you, Steve Fishman. Thank you, Joel Sklar. Thank you, Bill Seikaly. Thank you, Barb Ingalls. And of course, thank you. And with the Steve with the finger.
I want to tell everybody, all the people who are watching, particularly any of the Christians in the audience, you don't have to tell us happy holidays. You can tell Jews Merry Christmas. It's okay with Joel. It's okay with me.
Thank you. I say it. I'm saying Merry Christmas.
Right. So everybody have a Merry
Christmas.
Don't
worry about it.
Don't worry about Hanukkah.
Yeah,
don't worry about
love the lights.
We
love
know
Santa.
Country. We don't pretend it's a Jewish country. You guys go ahead.
Everything's good.
But it's okay.
Everybody. Like us.
It's okay to say Happy Hanukkah too.
Yeah. There you go.
And anybody who has any common sense wants in for both holidays.
Either way.
Yeah. Clearly, the non-Manischewitz liquor talking there. But
here we go.
We just take it all.
That's
funny.
All right.
So Merry
Allan.
Christmas, and drive home safely, and hopefully go Lions.
Yes.
Big game. Got to win out, baby. Got to win out.
Come on.
Merry Christmas to all of you and yours. Hope you have a wonderful holiday leading up to it and beyond. Try not to go too far deep into retail therapy when it's over. I know we don't celebrate Boxing Day, but maybe if you want to sit in a box, that's fine too. Have a great week.